Welcome back to GolfN. I'm Brandon, here with Jared as always, and we're pleased to be joined by a very special guest, two-time PGA Tour winner, two-time Olympian for Argentina, 2016 PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, and now GolfN ambassador, Emiliano Grillo. Emiliano, welcome to
Very
GolfN.
nice intro.
Glad to have you.
It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Hell of an intro.
We got to roll out the red carpet for Emiliano.
I wish starters are, a little cheesy. I'll take it.
I'm for hire on tour, so
that's no, the hell you are. Yeah, thanks for popping in, Emmy. I'm curious. You listed a lot of things on there that are very cool. Which one are you most proud of?
I would say two-time PGA Tour winner. I mean, those are very hard, and they're getting only harder. So, I'm 32, and now I get to call kids. These kids are coming in. Longer, better, sharper. It's getting harder and harder. So,
and you were the kid.
Well, not long ago, I thought I was a kid. Not anymore. I mean, when you see these guys, there's more. There's a lot of guys under 25 that are coming on tour and winning, back in my days, there were not many under 25s. Now there's, I would say, if I have to say a number, there's probably under 25, there's probably 20 to 30 guys. So, I think it'll be only a matter of 10, 20 years that everybody will be under 35.
That's,
or at least most of the tour.
It's just the way the game is going these days. Is it less about the kind of the artistry of a veteran, the knowledge of a veteran? Is it really just more about swing speed and hitting your numbers? I know that the teaching and just that level of golf has just changed so much probably since even you were a kid.
I think golf was always about hitting it long and hitting your numbers. The thing is, now everybody knows that. Before it was it was about, everybody thought it was more about strategy and getting the ball down in the fairway with a better chance. But when you look back in the years, majors have always been, or the majority of majors in the last 20, 30 years have been won by long hitters most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go back in time, I would say 70, 80% of the time was maybe a guy in the top 10 or top 20 in distance. Social media, cameras, the technologies on, cameras and computers and everything. Now everybody has access to everything.
Yeah.
So everybody knows that it's better to hit it, inside 70 yards. Doesn't matter if you're in the rough. It's better than being 180, from the hole. Even you in the middle of the fairway with a perfect number, perfect club and everything, it's easier to play from 70 yards. So people started to find that out. Now everybody's really good from, inside 40 yards. And I mean, everybody except this guy.
So I was going to ask that. It's something Brandon and I talked about, because is it not that piece, but how much are you tuned into your stats? Is this something you can't avoid? Like talking to your coach, talking to your caddy, do you talk about that stuff? Like, okay, we got to get inside 70 to have a chance of birdie here. This is where the stats are. Here's where you were for the day. Like, are you a stat nerd day by day or no?
There's access to everything. I mean, a guy who's played 20 years out here and a guy who's never played out here, when it comes to golf course management, the guy from 20 years doesn't have any advantage anymore.
Oh my God.
If a guy who's on the rookie year and does his homework, if you got maybe a stats guy, or there's services now that you can pay. Basically, they'll tell you, hey, on the left, long left, on 8, you send driver. It doesn't matter where it goes. Keep it, inside these 2 trees, and you have a better chance. And maybe the guy who's been playing 20 years, he's always laid up to 150 yards, and all of a sudden he's in a disadvantage. And the guy from the 20 years doesn't know it because he's played it so much that. And I've had that, and I've had that before numerous times where it took me 3 or 4 years, of, not doing the wrong strategy, but the one that I thought it was best for me. And then all of a sudden, I understood that it was easier to be closer to the hole, even though the hole was tighter, and I might be, but if I play 4 rounds, I might have a much easier chance 3 times out of the 4 versus playing 4 times from the 150 yards. Sometimes it was like, hey, I don't see driver here, but you have the numbers say that you have a higher chance of making less shots in the week by hitting driver.
Wow.
Sometimes you don't see it because you've been going there so many times. I mean, I remember hole number 9 at Hilton Head, the first 2-3 years that I played, never in my mind it crossed to hit a driver. Now I stand there, and the last thing I'm thinking, it's about to lay up. Now, if it's into the wind, then I'm laying up just because it's a bad play, at least for me.
Right.
But a guy who hits it maybe 10 or 15 yards longer than me, it's not even thinking about laying up, even if it's into the wind or whatever. He's going for it. I think he has 1 or 2 threes less than before, but my first instinct every year, or at least the first 3-4 years, I would always lay up. Then on the 5th or 6th year, I didn't even think about hitting driver. It was my practice round. My first instinct was just to grab a 5-iron, which is what I always hit on that one, and I would never change strategy. But if you have a guy who's coming from rookie year and he has all this info and says, hey, you should hit driver on 3 out of 4 pins, then he's ahead of me already on the week on that hole. It's just little things like that.
Yeah, was there a player that you were maybe paired with in a practice round or a real round who maybe one of these young bucks where you just had this like eye-opening moment, like, wow, I need to do something different?
I was talking with somebody the other day. Like, I don't get wowed by many players. I've had 3 or 4 times in my career that I was like, man, I really need to change something because this is like I felt that I was way behind some of the other players. I mean, I think I've seen it all, but like these guys they're sharper, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not about being wild. It's like how clean they play. They're very clean.
Interesting.
Guys come, they keep the ball in play. They get up and down from everywhere. They putt good. They get in a situation where they need to close out the round, and they do it, no problem. And you can tell the guys who, they have a chance or not. You're already, beginning of the year, you as you start playing with the rookies, you're like, wow, this guy's good. This guy's gonna last here. This guy's gonna, because the first year is the hard one, for sure.
Yeah.
The first year for a rookie, it's so hard because even though you have all the info, it's a big stage. It's harder. Everything is harder than before. And once you get through that first year, you're like, okay, I can do it. I know what I have to do. It's
okay. Hold on. I have to interrupt there.
Things.
So now I have to. I don't know if you were just doing like a little. It's the hardest year. And oh, by the way, remember, I was rookie of the year. So you, so you came out and did it. So talk to me about that. I have to ask because you won pretty early, right? Like you won what first couple starts? First start. Like
it's first start. Yeah. Hey, look, I played.
That's insane. I
mean, like before, I think mine was different because I played 4 years in Europe.
Okay.
It's called second biggest stage. So to me, it was like, hey, this is the same, better, more money. It's a no-brainer. There's nothing to. I just had to do the same and again, I went through my first year in Europe. And let me tell you, it was the hardest year I've ever had in my career. It was the first one.
Interesting.
Because, I went out first week and I finished top 10. Then I missed the cut, miscut, first alternate, miscut. So I went from top 10 to, and keep in mind that those four tournaments after the top 10, it was in the span of 2 months. Going to a tournament and being first alternate on my rookie year, like it felt so wrong. It's like this, I shouldn't be here. Like I shouldn't be spending all this money just to come here and be first alternate and between missing cuts. It was depressing when you start like, and keep in mind I was like 18 years old, just started playing for a living, paying my own things, paying everything. And I mean, I still pay for everything, but it was like more like out of pocket. Like
Right.
I had one sponsor that was Callaway, and I had to, be very careful to what I was spending. Like forget about steaks, forget about first class, forget about my own room, forget about that. It was sharing rooms, it was cheap meals, cheap tickets, try to keep everything down. And then you're spending all this money and you're like, first alternate. And then
Yeah,
keeps at it.
I can't even. It's almost like I think we talked this before, but it's like kind of like college, but like it's all you. Like you have to make it work. I mean, ramen noodles is what we did, right? It's like,
Yeah, but
ramen
I
noodles
mean,
make big
a
bills.
bank will give you a loan to study.
That's a good point.
Give you a loan to play golf.
Even you're a pretty well heralded amateur, though. I mean, that's.
I mean, yeah, but still, like it's a big jump going from amateur to professional.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea what you're running into. I mean, as amateur, you're like, okay, I'm going to go play, whatever. It makes no difference if you finish 40th or first.
Sure.
So you still need to.
Yeah, you still got to pay. You still got to get out there. A buddy of mine played college at Coastal Carolina, and he was an absolute clown. Like, I'd tell him to his face. He played pretty well at Coastal Carolina, and here, that's like a decent golf school. And he went on one of the early, I think it was the Hooters tour back then. And he was like, I used to roll into golf events hungover, and I slept for 2 hours, and I didn't care because my school was paid for. I could go to the mess, and I would go out and play pretty well. And then I went to the Hooters tour where I was funding it myself. And the first time I stood over a putt that was whether or not I could make my rent next month, I got the yips. I could not play. He said I lasted 6 tournaments and I quit because it was too much mentally. So you just kind of told that story. Like, I'm doing this all myself. I'm first alternate. So how'd you get through that? I mean, obviously you're here, multiple time tour winner. You've done crazy stuff. Like, was it a click? Was it a grind? How did you get through that?
I was 18. That's the only explanation I can give it. Obviously it was mentally, mentally it was very, very tough. But also I'm 18. Like I don't care.
You don't even know. Yeah.
I don't care. You just said it. I don't even know. And I think that's the reason why. I mean, I remember my first year I get paired with Justin Rose. I didn't care. I mean, I wanted to beat the guy,
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't care, but like when you think about it, right? If you're like, I still get if I get paired with some people, I'm like, hey, I'm playing with XYZ. I really want to beat this guy, and I take the extra effort to beat this guy. If I'm playing with a guy who's just coming, the Conferry or coming out of college, I'm like, it doesn't sound right, but I don't want to beat that guy. Like I wanted to, back in 2012, I wanted to beat Justin Rose. Like that was it. The guy was number whatever. It was top 3 or maybe number 1 in the world back in the day. And we're playing in France. It's one of the toughest golf courses that you'll find, if not the toughest golf course you'll find in Europe. It's those things. If this was my first year on tour, then I think it would be completely different. I would be looking left and right, and today I know what it means.
Right.
Like back then, I didn't care.
Let's bring it to the present day. I want to. So like we're talking the original, the OG year, rookie of the year. Now we go to the Phoenix where Jared, you met Emiliano. This was like right after the Ace. So you're probably yeah. So I wasn't with you guys when you had a chance to meet, talk about the app, all that. I want to just hear your interpretation of how Jared introduced himself and the app and what got you interested in what we're building at GolfN.
Well, funny, I had we have a really good friend in common, and I didn't know Dan, and we had a dinner planned for Friday night, and you know, I make a hole in one on Friday, and I'm like, perfect. I'm going to a dinner that I can't drink because it's an you know, it's a formal and kind of a business meeting, and next day I have to play again. So I'm like, can't even celebrate. Part of me, I'm like, I should have just missed the cut and fully send it and just celebrate this. But this is the one thing in a lifetime. Anyways, we started talking about like a different app, completely different app. It's just kind of the same, but it's more on the fitness side, right? So you can say it's kind of the same, but so the concept it's kind of similar, but onto fitness. So when they started going about this fitness app, like I started asking questions because I'm like, I love the concept. And he goes, well, there's something similar, but in the golf world. I'll introduce you to Jared tomorrow. He's the main guy. He's the guy. I'm like, all right. And, next day we met just outside the clubhouse and I started asking questions. He's like, yeah, we do this and this and that. And I'm like, I'm all into it. Like, I think the concept is phenomenal. And sometimes even on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I get to use the GPS part and it's super accurate. And as you both know, I love the fact that I've never used the GPS app. I always have the rangefinders, and if I go to a new golf course and it's not on tour, then I don't care where I hit it. I just wanted the ball to go straight. As long as it goes my distance straight, I don't care where it goes. Now, when it comes, on a PGA Tour event, I really need to have a sense of what the hole is doing. But we have the yardage books, and they're so accurate that I never had the need to use a GPS app. But as I started using it, I started asking questions, and the fact that it's free, I was like blown away that you get this massive aspect that everybody charges, you get it for free, and then obviously as people will see in the future that there's more to it. So, but I guess that's on you, Jared.
Yeah, no, you got it. I found it funny early on. Actually, the three of us on this call, when we're the people who had tested the app the most when we were first getting into like extended testing. I was obviously first, Brandon was second, and Emmy was third. Because there was that run of like 2 weeks where you were like, hey, this broke or this didn't work. This was great. I was comparing it against the yardage book. It was pretty accurate. The tee box was off here. And I really appreciated how you went into that, having not done it. Was there a moment where like free plus earnings kind of snapped in for you where you were like, okay, not only is this free, but you could actually earn from golfing? Like, did that speak to you?
It's kind of a free casino. Well, you get to do it for free, and then there's no risk to it, and people can have fun and can it's a bit of a social media app. It's a bit of a golf app. It's a bit of a gaming app. It's got, I would say, the best of everything. So the more you dig, the more you start using it, the more the more you like it, the more you enjoy it, the more, and I feel that once it gets done, it'll be great. And obviously, you can always make it better and better and better. I think I told you the first time I used it. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, you have. And I appreciate that. I think that's the right view. And it's funny because you don't really have a tremendous paradigm to compare against, but I do because I'm a nerd, right? And the having used Arcos, 18 Birdies, the Grit, et cetera, like the emphasis in those apps are get better at golf. And like, don't get me wrong, I want people to use GolfN and get better at golf, but it's really more about having fun, right? I think I had a conversation with you around, it was a while ago, and we can you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but it's like it almost feels like there's guys who have fun playing golf that are out there doing the thing, and there's guys that are just tryhards. Like they're trying to do everything. They're trying to win the next thing. They want to be the next Tiger Woods, right? They want to be whatever. And obviously, you play at the highest level, but you also seem like a down to earth guy too. You and I've talked about fantasy sports. We've talked about Liverpool. We've talked about Argentina and Messi. Hey, And so you have all these different interests. Like, how do you balance fun versus your job? Is golf still fun to you? It's why I'm asking. Seriously, this is uncut. We're going raw here, baby.
Yeah, not long ago we spoke about like finding time for everything. I try to find time for everything and trying to be, I know I can't be the best at everything, but I try to be good at everything. And it's kind of hard to find. It's a huge balance, and I feel like when you try to, I think when you have to split the time, then golf starts to be more of a weight down. Yeah. And before it was like, hey, I don't care how much it weighs, I'm putting my 100% effort into golf. So golf nowadays is more of it's a bit of a weight down, just because I want to do everything. I want to have time for watching a football game, or maybe playing football, and I can't. I can't play football because I know this is my job, and I also have been doing this for 15 years now. So the body doesn't react the same. I have to do double the effort. Waking up in the mornings, practice takes double the effort. Being in shape takes 20 times the effort. And like I've said at the beginning, it's like these guys are getting longer and longer and longer, and I'm used to playing with my distance, and I played 15 years with my distance, and now I feel like, hey, I need to start adding a yard or two every couple months and be consistent with it and make sure that it doesn't go back. I mean, technology is helping, but it can only help you so much. So you need to, when you have a family and you want to do other things, it starts weighting down. I mean, everybody will tell you that. Obviously, there's people that still find a way to really enjoy it, and they might have a different lifestyle. Maybe what I try to do outside of golf, some other people, they just keep it a golf. And my family knows the rules. When I step inside the house, there's no such a thing as golf. I'm not a golfer anymore. If I meet somebody that talking about golf, I go the other way, and I'm like, I don't know you. I don't want to know you because I don't want to hear about golf.
I want to go there though, because you're saying things that I feel like I heard when players decided to take the LIV bag. They I need my time and my career, and they said a lot of the same things. And I want to get your kind of interpretation of the whole LIV PGA Tour, European Tour debacle. I mean, it's kind of a mess right now. I think as a fan, I'm kind of over it. I want to see a resolution, but what's been your interpretation of LIV in the context of the fact that some of these guys are?
Yeah, but when you say resolution, what do you expect out of it?
Well, I think the fans just want the best players playing every week on the same tournament.
How do you do that?
Speak on behalf of the fans.
How do you do that? If you had a
Emmy's asking you for a solution. Yeah.
If you had a business, you don't want the other business to do better than you. But if the other business has more money, most likely would steal your business. It's the way it goes. But it's like Disney World and Universal Studios, right? You can do both. You can go to both. You'll obviously, and that also the same. What people don't understand also is it's either one or the other one. No, it's not. You can both can coexist. You can obviously as a golfer, it's a little bit harder because they have rules, and if it was the other way around, right? If the PGA Tour decides to open the doors, would LIV want their players to play less tournaments and be more on the PGA Tour? Probably not.
That's a good point.
But brought more people for Disney too. When you go to Orlando, or when you go to Orlando for holidays with your family, you go to both. If you only had Disney World, people probably would not be going as much. Now you have so many attractions around the city. You have so many restaurants. You have so many parks. So many, shopping malls. So you can do everything. It adds more people.
Yeah.
I think the LIV Tour brought more people, brought new people, and I bet you PGA Tour numbers will eventually go up. European Tour will go up. LIV Tour will go up. It's just the more the merrier. That's and also applies for golfers. Like, if we're not in the PGA Tour, we can be in the European Tour. If we're not in the European Tour, we can be in the LIV Tour. If we're not in the LIV Tour, we can go on the Asian Tour. We have so many options, and it's just about opening the door into one.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, there's I think there's 52 players on the LIV Tour every week. That's 52 spots that opened up in other tours. So,
Right.
I mean, there's always more positive things than negatives, and everybody's like you say, you want guys to be playing in the same tournaments. Why couldn't you watch both? You can watch both. If you want to watch, Joaquin Niemann play, you can watch him. It might be in a different tournament, but you still watch. You still watch the guy play golf. In the end, it's about watching the guy play golf and competing. And he's in a platform that he's competing with great players. I mean, he's playing with Bryson. Bryson was in the last pairing at the Masters. He's not one of the top players in the world.
Did you see that?
It's a different platform, not altogether, but in the end, it's more golf. You can watch more golf. It's fine.
Yeah.
But if you have a solution, I'll hear it.
Well, I think that there's a part of it that gets tiresome for me where I'm like, come on, what's his name? Brian Wesley, was it Wesley Bryan, right?
Yeah.
He did the creator thing at the LIV tournament, and he got suspended, right? I don't know what it actually was, but like he's.
Yeah, we were by the pool in Punta Cana, not a bad. He was actually there, even though he was suspended. He was actually there, and I asked him, "Hey, like, what's the deal?" He's like, "Yeah, I got suspended. I don't know how long." But I started asking questions, and to me, it doesn't seem right. But again, in a way that he knew what he was getting into it, and he's like, "Look, if it was the same case, I'd probably do it over again." And I'm like, look, maybe, I bet you some new doors will open, and it might not be in the PGA Tour, but might be something different, and maybe you will enjoy it more. And we got down to the question, hey, like, am I ready to, not having the opportunity to play in the PGA Tour again? I'm like, you'll still be playing golf. You're a golf nut. You love golf. He's one of the persons that he loves golf. Loves
really
everything related to it. And he loves all the art behind the golf, and and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But
he's a golf nerd. He's a golf nerd like Brandon.
It doesn't seem right when you. I didn't ask much. I didn't know much, but he told me, it was full YouTube with LIV golfers. Yeah. It wasn't even backed by LIV Tour. It was just
It happened to be at the event where that was happening in Miami at Doral or whatever it was.
And again, it was a scramble for a YouTube channel. I mean, give me a break.
See, that's what annoys me. I generally don't have an issue with LIV. I will say this. I have tried to watch LIV numerous times. I can never find it on TV. Like, it's a problem. I found out they're on FS1 now, but there was I think the last couple of years they were on CW or something, and I was like, I can't even find these guys. I don't even know if I have CW to go on and watch. And so that part annoyed me. And I did actually watch, for the first time this year, Neiman win, was that last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Very most recent. Apparently. Is it won 4 this year? 4 this year? Are you and him? Are you and he friends?
PGA Tour, let alone LIV Tour. I got nothing against it, but I don't watch golf. So.
That's funny. No, I like that about you. You told me that early on. You're like, I don't watch golf. I'm not sure I would either.
I watched 9 holes this year, and it was the last. Well, not even the last 6 holes of the Masters. And that was it.
That was compelling. Very compelling TV. But I think we want the pressure, right? And I don't know if LIV has the pressure component. A fan.
It's still the same. No, this is what people don't get.
Is it though?
It's still the same. Obviously, it's got some obviously benefits for golfers, for the players, that it's like, you have no cuts and it's less, less days, it's 54 holes. I mean, if you ask me, tournament should be 54 holes, not 72. But that's my opinion. And I feel there's a lot of positive things that I like. It's like the shotgun. I love it because everybody gets the same weather.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
That's one of the things that I hate about professional golf. It's like I could be playing tomorrow and raining all day, and then maybe the guys to play in the morning had nothing, no wind, no nothing. And I could be playing under rain all day. When you go in that format, you have the exact same weather. Yeah, you might be playing different holes, whatever, but you have the same weather. Like if it's raining for one, it's raining for all of the 50 whatever players. I personally think that's great. That's one of the things that I would change about professional golf if I could. And then they have it. And again, 54 holes, I think it's a great thing. And then, I mean, in the end, even when you play a mini tour event, you still want to win.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I always talk with people. Is like, I always say that I cannot wait to the day that I don't care where the ball goes, just to go out and play and have fun. Because now when I go play with my friends, I still want to hit it good and play good and have a good score, because I know that in a week or 2 or 3, I'm going to have to be competing. And in the end, it's my job.
Yeah.
So I always say I can't wait to the day that I'm like, hey, I just go play with my friends, knowing that not even 20 years I'll be playing again. And people is like, well, I don't think that would ever happen. And that's the same with, mini tour, LIV, European, Asian tour. You still want to play good. You still want to compete. The competition is what drives most of the players out here.
Right.
I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I've made more money than I could ever spend. I don't need it. And you go through a phase where it's like, I don't want to play anymore. And it's like, hey, I made so much money that I don't want to play anymore. And you realize, hey, like, I've always played here because of the competition. Yeah, the money came after. But in the end, you wanted to play better than everybody else. Yeah, there's a plus, but every player out here goes through a phase where it's like, where they realize that they've made enough money to either retire or go do something else or live a better life and not having the need of traveling and this and that they had to, talk with people to realize, hey, I'm here to compete. I've always been here to compete. Obviously, there goes a phase where it's like, hey, I'm making a lot of money. I want to keep it going, and that drives you, and that's fine with it because it's a way of finding motivation, or whatever. But it gets to a point where it's like money's not it anymore. Now you have to find that competition thing.
I saw an interview that Patrick Harrington did last week, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. It was great. He's on, senior tour now, whatever. And he was talking about the caddies. Like caddies are always chasing that dream. It's like a lot of the guys when they're done, caddying, what do? Do you go sell houses? You sell real estate? It's not hard to get these guys back out there. You have one good week and that's a year's salary, like ripping mortgages. And they keep coming. It was a hilarious interview. And it's like, yeah, if you're 55 years old and you're carrying a bag, like it's not the most glamorous thing in the world, but like, you want to be sitting behind a desk all day? And I was like, good Lord, that's funny. Like, it's interesting to hear him talk about that from a different perspective, from a caddy perspective. Right. And I guess like that dynamic, your caddy's James, is that his name?
James, yeah.
James, yeah. So, I mean, he's obviously up and down with
Man
you.
United fan.
He's a United fan. Oh my God! Well, he's not allowed on the show, but he's a United fan. Is he from Manchester? I know he's from the UK. Yeah,
he's from Manchester.
Oh my God! 2 of our guys that work here are from Manchester and are United fans. So 2 of the guys at GolfN that run some of our YouTube content. But when you guys are out there grinding together, how does he keep you loose, or does he keep you loose, or does he just know not to mess with you?
No, he's always with a smile. It's funny. Like sometimes I'm like very into it, and he will come up with the most random shit, and you're like, man, you don't care, really. And that's what I love the most about him. Obviously, he's here to, he's away from family and wants to do well. But I've had situations where we had a putt, like very important putt. I'm like, hey, what do you think? Right edge? He'd be like, I think so. Yeah, with a big smile. And I'm like, that's it. It almost makes you feel like he doesn't care, and that's good. In a way, when you start, when I started to working with him, it was like, does he not care? He's just in a good mood, doesn't matter what. And, even when United loses, and he's in a good mood. So,
it's funny because when I watched you the first couple of times, I think, you were featured coverage a lot at the start of the year, which is awesome for me to be able to watch you play, even when it's not on broadcast. I'll tell you what, man, at first I was like, Emmy might lead the league in tour sauce, like the whole, pointing, body language, etc. Like, you show your emotion out there. Like, you don't really hold back, do you?
I mean, it's me against me. I don't, if I play well, I'm gonna do well. That's all I know. Like, I don't care what I know. If I play well, I'm playing better than most out here.
Yeah.
So that's my only focus. And if I'm not doing well, then I know I'm getting beaten, and when I hit it. That's, again, I'm here to compete and play well. And when I don't, it's very frustrating.
Do you mind if I ask you about a little bit about your performance this year? Because I was just doing some research and I'm curious your thoughts.
Oh boy.
Okay, so Brandon and I were talking earlier. You've been a top 40 putter your entire career. Like, you are an unbelievable putter.
That's not true.
Oh my God! I was looking at Data Golf. Let's pull it up, Brandon. Okay, you worked on it.
Well, probably even 2020. If you go 2020 back, it's horrendous, horrible. But, I think I've had 2018 was my, I had a really good putting year. I don't know where it came from though, but like 2020, 19, 17, I mean, disgusting. 17, 16, 15, disgusting.
Okay.
19 was probably, I was probably 180 in putting, 190.
All right, 19. Yeah, you were losing 1.8 shots on the field. Okay, so fair enough.
Okay, if you go to stats, like PGA Tour stats, if you go like,
I am.
Probably 180, 190, 2020 most likely the same, and then after 21 it started getting better. But like, I think it was 2023. I think it was really good. Can't remember 22, but
I was using Data Golf, but you're right. I apologize. Yeah, 185th in 2018-19.
18-19. Okay, so 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 17-18 was probably like, well, not including, so like just 18 without including 17 is probably like really good. And then, I don't know, disappeared again.
And then it disappeared. Okay. So yeah. Oh my God. 17-18, you were 10th.
Okay. I was going to say like 8.
Yeah. Really, really high. And then when I told people that we were talking to you, everyone universally said, these are golf nerds. They're like, that guy's unbelievable ball striker. One of the best ball strikers on tour. And then I watch you play, and I'm like, you're drilling putts everywhere. Like, your putting was amazing, and off the tee. And I asked you about it, and you said, yeah, I was working off the tee this offseason.
Yeah.
And so off the tee, huge gains. Putting, you're great. But the people I was talking to about your game said, the guy's one of the most pure ball strikers that there is. So it seems like you've kind of felt what I feel. You work on one part of your game. It's hard to be good at all of them at once. Like, how do you deal with that? That's got to be the most frustrating shit in the world.
Well, you practice everything. That's the thing. But it's funny. Like, sometimes you're like, hey, I was a great driver of the ball like a few years ago, and all of a sudden I'm bottom half with the driver, and it's like, hey, like how did that happen? It's like everything. You kind of start working, start expending many hours of my days, putting, and just changing, trying, working. Sometimes it's not about just smart work. It's about trying different things. That's the thing about golf. It's like, hey, when you try something, it takes time. Even if you're in the right path, even if you're in the exact, perfect, most accurate path, it takes time. That's the thing about golf. It sucks. And you don't know if it's gonna work until it works, and you have no idea. So when you're trying something, it's like you gotta give it a month or two, and sometimes you don't even have a month or two. You need to make it happen next week or tomorrow.
Right.
So sometimes it's taking that, leap of faith and be like, hey, is this gonna be it or not? Am I gonna trust it or not? If I decide, hey, I'm gonna trust it, it's okay. You kind of know, but sometimes it's about that. It's about giving a little bit extra time to the things to work, and when you know.
Sure.
And in this case, I knew that I needed to spend time and try different things, and I started seeing with my putting coach. I started seeing that whatever my gut was telling me, it always ended up being right. But it was a matter of at the beginning, I didn't have proof. I didn't have anybody to rely on all these concepts and theories and whatever. And they started working. They started working, and all of a sudden, I'm having consistent years with the putter, which is kind of what I was looking for. And now I'm trying to find that extra few yards off the tee, but I'm also trying to get back to hitting fairways, which is not easy.
Not easy. That is very relatable. Brandon, go ahead. You're going to say something.
Golf is very...
Also, don't ask me. If you get me alone on a range or on a putting green, I do more harm than good. So it's good to hear that some people know how to come out of the dark place.
Yeah, it's they call it a rabbit hole. Once you go down the rabbit hole, it's like you have so many directions you can take, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's like, hey, if I go left, that's the right direction.
So let's talk about like the 2025 rest of the year here. You've had a solid start to the year, a lot of made cuts, some good finishes, but I imagine you want to step on the gas and have some really good finishes. So like what should we be looking for out of your game? What are you focusing on? What are your points of emphasis to kind of bring on a strong year?
It's kind of funny because as you can see the stats, my short game has been horrendous. When I go to practice chipping green, it's great. And then when I go to the actual moment of through, it's like literally. Wait.
Actually, so hold on. I gotta stop you right there. So you get when you're practicing, you feel you're in a place you want it to be.
Oh yeah, 100%. Dude, I've hit a lot of chips on Tuesday. It was great. It was great. It was phenomenal. Today, get on 10. I hit a great chip, exactly the way I wanted. And then I go on 16, and I did like a completely amateur. And then I almost chipped it in on the next one. And then I go on 9, and I have, not an easy chip, but it's just the wrong choice of shot. And it's like, it's just those things. Like obviously when you're practicing on practice days, you're seeing one shot and you do it, and then when you go to the golf course, it's like I ended up choosing the wrong shot. Those are the things that professional golf, that's the hard part. It's like, hey, you always have to be choosing, not only making the right swing, not only getting the right speed on the green, not only getting the right read. It's about not, always choosing the right club, always doing the right calculations, first cut, fairway, rough, wind, wet ball, humidity.
Okay, hold on. I have to start because I see a number and I hit the number. I mean, help me out here, man. How about the people at home? What the hell is what you just said? Okay, so you have first cut, rough, wet ball, humidity. Can you talk me through a shot?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put 150 yards. You get a ball from the fairway, first cut, rough, right?
Yes.
So let's go the most simple. If you're in the fairway, if it's 70 degrees, it's sunny, there's no wind, you hit 150, it's going to go 150, most likely, right? If it's 85 degrees, that ball is going to go 150 yards. If it's 120 degrees, that ball is going to go 2 yards. If it's 100% humid, it's going to go 170 yards. You know? If it's 50...
So you're actually calculating that on the fly.
If it's 50, it's blowing. If it's 50 and the ball is wet and it's 7 in the morning, the ball is going to go 135 yards. You know what I mean? So you have a 50 yards gap, maybe from 7 in the morning to 2:30 p.m. I mean, you can go to Atlanta. You can go to Atlanta and play at 7 a.m. and hit from 150 yards. And 7 a.m. might go 140 yards. And then you play at 2 and it might go 170 yards. So on a summer day, you could have the same shot being a 30-yard difference. That's just from the fairway.
Okay, so I have to... Do you talk about this with James? Is it like, okay, it's a little bit of wind, not humid, 150. I got a 157 with...
You do understand that we have to shoot 25 under par to win tournaments. That doesn't just come to you.
This is what I used to say back in college. You don't just roll the balls out and just go hit it, man, like that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I know you don't.
Then first cut could be 2 inches apart. One could be a flyer, one could be a spinner ball. I mean, and then same applies on the distance and the temperature and if it's wet. Then you go to rough. If you play in Bermuda, I mean, you better wait for that ball to go 180 yards from 150. I mean, if you're playing bent and the grass is into you, the ball is going to go 130 yards. Every shot is completely different. That's why sometimes when you and then you have factors like maybe your playing partner gets a bit of a ruling that you're behind and the officials want you to play a little bit faster, then you don't have time to think so much and you just have to stand there and almost hit it without even thinking. Otherwise, you're paying a fine. I mean, there's a lot of things.
That's what I do. I hit without thinking. I just go.
Yeah,
that's
but like obviously, again.
I'm kidding.
Again, if you don't care what you're shooting, then that's beautiful.
I care, Emmy. I just can't, even if I want to. That's the problem. That's.
Then you need to start putting into consideration like things like that. Even if you say, hey, look, I hit it left or right and I don't know where the ball's going. Well, it's easier to be pin high than 30 short or 30 long. So,
yeah. No, that's a good point.
I mean,
this is funny.
You can go into like so much, and sometimes if it's a white ball, a 9-iron would react different to a hybrid or even a 4-iron or a wedge or just.
I know that like Brandon has so many things that he wants to talk about, and I have to ask one last thing here because this has to happen. I have to imagine in your career with your caddy, current caddy, previous, whatever it is, have you ever stood over a ball and been like, I got no fucking idea?
I've had a situation now, probably a couple of years ago where I don't know if you guys ever played a 15-hole at Quail Hollow where they're playing PGA Championship in a couple of weeks. It's a par 5, goes like left up the hill, but there's a water left and an out of bounds right, but they're 100 yards apart. So I went the first day and I hit on the water left, and I go the next day and I hit it out of bounds. So on Saturday I hit in the water again. I was so lost. Like my head was literally spinning. Like I had no control of what I was thinking. I literally got there. I look at my caddy and I say, give me a distance. You give me the club and tell me what to do. Because I cannot think right now. Like I am lost. Like you just lost me. Like just tell me what to do. I'll hit it what you want me to do. I'll do whatever. I can't think right now. I was just gone.
And? Well, no, so what happened? So what did he call?
He told me like laid it up and hit it there, hit it 9-iron, whatever. I am over this. I can't think.
That's so funny.
They're 100 yards apart. 100 yards.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't.
If not more, probably more.
Some of us live with a two-way miss on a daily basis, Emiliano. And my headspace is similar to what you're describing, and I live with it every day.
All the time. Yeah, I do it all the time.
Jared,
that's funny. Yeah.
Why don't we get to the community mailbag questions?
Yeah, those guys will be pumped about this. This will be fun.
Yeah. So the golfing community, they're super jacked to have you on board. I kind of teased that we were going to have some time with you, and I asked, Emiliano doesn't like stupid questions from the media, so let's get some stupid questions from the community. So I'm kind of hiding behind them a little bit. We got a question from Greg. What is your practice regimen for when you want to bring a swing change to tournament play? So I know you were talking about that a little earlier, like working on stuff in the off season, but you want to put a swing change in. How long does it take to make it tournament ready?
Could be 30 seconds. It could be 30 days. It could be 3 years. I mean, it depends on what you're changing. This might sound funny, but I would say grip change is probably like the easiest one because they tend to look. If I'm gonna do a grip change, then I just hit as many balls as I can without even thinking anything. I just grip in the way I want it, and probably in 2-3 days it's back to normal or where I would like to, and I'm not even thinking anymore. Sometimes it maybe a takeaway thought, and sometimes it's not even about the swing change. It's more about, hey, I need to do this, and I feel like every player, at least at this level, it's capable of changing something very quick.
Mm.
But sometimes it takes longer to put it in play, not because we don't like it or we're not. Some people just, it takes longer to build a trust, and new swing thoughts are like new relationships. It's like, yeah, you go all in it, but it takes a while to trust that.
That's the greatest thing you've said so far, because I could not agree with you more. Yeah. Like, there are so many times in just being an idiot like me that I'm like, I should do this. I went to my coach. He said, I can't do it. I can't even think about committing that way. You go back to what you used to do. So I'm going to follow up on that real quick. You've been talking about off the tee, trying to get longer, trying to be in the fair. So, like, you've been working on that. That was your off-season focus, right?
And my off-seasons are usually away from golf.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to be totally honest. I spend 2 months. I go to Argentina. I don't even take my clubs. And then I usually show up to Hawaii and trying to figure it out. So usually the first couple of weeks of the years are the roughest ones because it's like basically relearning professional golf and my swing again. So,
nice.
But yeah, I've been trying to add a little bit of speed, and it's like everybody else. Everybody else, you go to a gym, everybody's slamming balls and trying to create speed in there, and everybody kind of on the same path.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Well, that's fun. Go ahead, Brandon. What's the next one?
We got a question from El Griff. What part of your game do you concentrate on the most in practice, and why?
Yeah, well, right now it's short game because I suck at it. I totally suck. I set it wide open and honestly as I can. I suck at it, and I need to get better at it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Have you ever felt like that was the strength of your game? I'm honest to God. Like, at any point, juniors.
Like, I would say, back in the day, and I never felt like I needed to. I always had the, kind of the imagination of, where to land it and everything. That's not a problem. Today it's about execution. That's it.
Got it. Okay. So it's funny. I say that because, like, yeah, I would really love to be better off the tee. I've been horrendous off the tee my entire life, right? Like, I imagine each part of your game at some point has probably carried you at whatever point you're at. Sometimes it's putting, sometimes it's approach, sometimes it's off the tee. And so you remember a period where, like, short game, you're like, I can rely on this, and now you're struggling with it. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, look, when I started putting better, I was like, hey, get me anywhere on the green, I can work from there. Previously, it was like, before I started putting well, I was like, hey, I need to hit it as close as I can, and I wasn't afraid because my short game was, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I would say it was average. And keep in mind, when I say average out here, it's like, it's good,
Oh, yeah.
Being 100 on the PGA Tour is pretty good. And if you can keep all your stats, all of them, above 90 or 80 on tour, you're doing really well.
Yeah.
You're a hell of a golfer.
Well, and I know that you are. It's funny. We joke about this. Obviously, like, talked to a guy last week who was a +6 and tried to make it on tour, and he couldn't even get close, couldn't even sniff it. It's not about can you go low on a given day. It's can you do every piece of it all the time, right?
It's that's the thing. It's like your standard has to be really high out here.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to put it. I mean, your average can be good, but your standard has to be high.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, then we got 2 left, right? We got 2?
Two, yep. Okay, this is from
All right.
CCI. He's writing in from Northern Ireland right now. He's out on he's our sweepstakes winner, so he's playing Northern Ireland golf, like Royal Portrush, County Down, all that. And he saw we're talking to you. He wants to know, at what age did you stop stepping up to the tee with a reload ball in your pocket?
I didn't even knew what that was until I started playing in the U.S. I'm
Really?
not gonna give any names, but a Hall of Famer that I played with regularly, he does breakfast balls on the first, which I've never heard of it. It's like this: hit a few more in the range and just play, But he likes to do breakfast balls only on the first, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's just standard.
I never heard of it.
You never do what breakfast balls were? That's not a thing in Argentina? Oh my God.
Once you step on the tee, it's the same as AT&T. That's the way I see it.
Okay, last one here from Kieran. Kieran wants to know the best tour stop for food. So, of all the tour stops, where do you like to eat?
Well, I mean,
this is tough, Emmy. People are gonna scrutinize this. You got to come correct.
Memorial, when you say food stop, it's like city in general, or because like Memorial is
restaurant
not
you like.
Memorial.
Yeah, is there like one? Yeah.
Memorial Tournament has some great food at the golf course. Milkshakes are insane. They're famous, as everybody knows. There's a couple of restaurants that I love in that city. They're very kind of a hole in the wall. One is a Japanese, and then one is a Korean barbecue. I don't know. I have my spots here and there. I don't think there's a city that is like, oh, great food. Everybody says New Orleans, but it's like, yeah, great charbroiled oysters.
You could only have so much gumbo and
yeah. But I feel like you can have it, many places around the U.S. Clam chowder in New England, I guess, in Boston area or something like that. But I think the U.S. is pretty level. I mean, you go everywhere, you have kind of the same food and same chains and steaks, and it's pretty standard, I would say. But I have my stops here and there, and they're usually Asian food. So it's
really,
yeah. I'm very sushi, Japanese food, Korean food, a little bit of Thai here and there, some noodles, but nothing.
Jack is going to be happy. Columbus sleeper pick for good grub. Love it. Why don't we wrap, Jared? Let's talk about plans on tap for 2025. I know that we would love to get the community golfing involved with Emmy when we can. What are we thinking for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, obviously we're gonna try to do this as much as Emmy's schedule allows, and so hopefully we'll be able to do more fun stuff. You're on the next 2 months, right? I don't think you're off much, are you, Emmy?
Yeah, I think so far if I keep playing even par every day, I'm gonna have a couple of weeks off here and there. That's fine. It's okay.
I appreciate your levity. That's the right way to view it.
Well, I'm just keeping it real. I have to play better. That's all. I know how well you need to play out here, and I'm not playing that well. I'm playing okay, just not that well. And now you always want more.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I know that I was looking at a few things where I anticipate you'll be, which I think we're going to be doing community events. So if that ends up happening, can I twist your arm to come have a beer with the community? Or not beer because you're competing? I don't know. I don't know what the right way to view it is.
We can do a Coke or something like that.
Okay, yes. Sorry, sponsors, you're listening. Yeah, so we'll line that up. But honestly, I appreciate you jumping on and doing this and just kind of talking. Mm-hmm. Look, these guys, do you understand that we're all idiots that would love to just for one hole play like you play? Not even a 9. Just for one hole. We want to play like you play and feel like we have command. And they guys are looking for the secret. So let's end on this. Give the single digit, the double digit handicappers at home one thing that they should do to try to get better. You see amateurs do it all the time. What's the one thing? Let's go out on that.
Anything inside 10 feet.
Really?
Tell me how many people, if you go play a match play, right?
Yeah.
That's because most of the guys don't finish their rounds. But a guy who's a scratch handicap would probably miss a 4 or 5 footer round, most likely. The guy who's a single digit will miss more than 2. The guy who's a 10 handicap will miss more than 3. I'm not talking 4 or 5 footers, not even 12 footers. So if you think about it. If you're an 8 handicap and you make all your 5 footers, I'm not saying 20, 5.
Yeah.
You'll be from 8 to 6 or 5 in a matter of a couple months.
That's great.
That's
someone who is currently an 8 handicap, I appreciate that.
That's a universal
You're speaking to. Did you look up our GIN?
Yeah, we're both sitting right in that range. Like, you're helping us out here. This is good.
I mean, if you're anything around the 10 to 20 handicap, I would say get it out of the bunker every single time. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're going sideways. Get it out of the sand. That's another kind of a universal rule. And then another thing that I always see most of the guys, like I just told you, like a shot from 150 yards, I see people being 20 yards short. It's like, it's not that hard, buddy. You shouldn't be 20 yards short. If you're a single handicap, you shouldn't be 20 yards short. And you see that a lot.
So it's the left-right, you feel. I'm not saying you hit the green, just be pin high. You could pull it, you could push it, whatever. Be pin high.
So the distance, it's in your control, basically. So I'm not saying that you're going to hit it good, but you could be 5 to 10 yards short or 5 to 10 yards long. That's fine, because if you're consistently like 10 left, 10 long or 10 short, it means that your calculations are usually pretty accurate.
Oh.
And I would say this: if your calculations are starting to get better and better and better, you'll be more short than you will be long, because you're always aiming to hit it good. Now, if you hit it good and you're 10 past the pin, your calculation is off.
Interesting. Good to know. All right, Brandon, that's our clip right there. We got to take that one and just go put it out there for all the weekend warriors like me that are trying to get better. Emmy, I really appreciate it, my friend. I feel good about tomorrow. I'll be watching, so let's do it, baby.